My name is Rachel and we are group 15. These are our details. So I'll take you through this question that reads, what are the different methods of data collection in research? Data collection methods in research are classified in two, which are secondary data collection methods and primary data collection methods. But I'll start with secondary data collection methods. So here the researcher uses data that was previously collected by other researchers to solve a certain problem, but the data collected previously can be used for the immediate study. And the sources of data here are basically documents, and this may include government applications like official reports and statistics. Then we also have early research, whereby the researcher uses studies from other scholars, which saves time. Then we also have census, which provides large population insights, and it's good for demographic studies. Then we also have personal records like diaries, letters, and autobiographies. And this provides a personal angle, but it can be subjective. So when we move on to primary data collection methods, here the researcher directly conducts research and gets data from original sources. And the methods used here are observations, and observations whereby the researcher goes and observes activities being done in the field. It can be classified into participant and non-participant. For participant, the research actively participates in the activities to get an insider view. Then for non-participant, the researcher stays detached and just observes. Then for interviewing, it's a face-to-face interaction between the interviewer and then the interviewed, whereby it can be structured whereby an interviewer can use fixed questions with defined answers, then unstructured, whereby the researcher here uses, or the interview here uses open-ended questions. Then the last method under primary data collection methods is questionnaires, and this is a list of questions that is sent out to the respondents, who later on provide responses to these questions, and then they can send them back to the researcher. So they can be emailed to reach a wide audience, or they can be collectively administered, like handing them out in classroom for quick responses. Then when we go to advantages and disadvantages for primary data collection methods, here we get fresh data. It is specific data tailored around your purpose of the study. Then you are in full control of the study process. You can determine what and how to collect the data, so it is relevant, up to date, it is current. The disadvantages are that it is time consuming. You know that research takes weeks and weeks, so it's also expensive in terms of the tools, the travel, and all that, the traveling. Then the risk of bias. There is also a risk of bias. Then for secondary data collection methods, and the advantage is that it is quick, because you are using data that is already existing, so it is quick. And it's also cost effective, whereby most of these data or these secondary sources are free, and if they are not free, they are cheap to access, and then they provide a large data access. So the disadvantages are that it's not tailored around the purpose of the study most of the times, and then it is possibly outdated, whereby you get research that was collected like 10 years back and it's no longer relevant. Then it also relies on others' accuracy. So if the data you're using was collected by a researcher who was not accurate, so that means the data is also not accurate. And if the researcher is accurate, that means the data is accurate. So it depends on the researcher's accuracy. Thank you so much. My colleagues will take you through other questions.
Hello, Kasacha Dennis Nicholas, and I'll be taking you through the different sampling techniques, that's the probability and non-probability. Probability sampling, here every individual has a known chance of being chosen. And the methods we have, there's random, stratified, systematic. For random, the researcher selects an individual out of the entire population. Then for stratified, the researcher classifies the population in what we call strata or subgroups, and in characteristics such as maybe age, sex, income levels, level of education. Then for systematic, the researcher bases on a given criteria to choose. The impact we have, it's representative because of the members in the population being assessed have equal chances of being selected. Then it's generalizable since the information is gathered from a wide number of people. Then it reduces bias as well due to the randomness. Then for non-probability sampling, is the opposite of probability sampling. The selection is based on convenience or judgment. It's not a guarantee that person will be selected. And the methods we use here, we have convenience. As it says itself, a researcher will select maybe to assess a population within his reach or locality where he can easily access them in terms of maybe distance and other factors as well. Then purposive, it looks at a given category of people. The research could be biased to maybe teachers, social workers, something of a sort. Then for snowball, the trained participants get others, like it's kind of a distillation thing. Those who have been assessed, they train others and take part in the assessment. Then the impacts we have, it's easier due to convenience and cheaper, but may introduce bias because there's no randomness. You can't generalize some of the things I've got from the sample population because there is no maybe in terms of the selection criterion used. Yeah, that was it for giving clarity on probability and non-probability sampling techniques. Thank you.
My name is Deborah Tala. I'm going to take you through the factors that should be considered when selecting data collection methods. To start with, we have the research objectives. In selecting data collection methods, they should be able to align with our purpose of study, like what are our objectives for the topic of research chosen. Are we deciding to use qualitative data or quantitative data? That also determines the data collection methods considered for the research, and then the type of data needed is also necessary. Considering qualitative data or quantitative data leads to use different data collection methods. So if one has to use qualitative data for their research, then they will have to use other data collection methods different from the person who has chosen to use quantitative data, or who has to work with quantitative data for their research project. Then also put into consideration the target population. For the target population, we can consider the literacy levels of this population of a given sample. For example, we cannot write questionnaires in English for an illiterate target population. That would be very inefficient. And also consider the willingness of the population to participate in our research, or to participate by providing us with the data that we need. Then to continue, we also consider the resources available. How much time, how much money are we willing, or do we have planned to put into the research? If it involves traveling from one place to another, do we have enough resources to afford that travel? Or if we need to hire trained researchers, can we be able to access them? So we also need to consider the resources we have available as we decide on which data collection methods to use because some are more expensive than the others. Then we also consider the accuracy and reliability. For example, if we choose to use interviews as a data collection method, we have to consider how accurate and how reliable. If we choose questionnaires, how accurate will they be for our research topic? And also have open-ended methods such as interviews. We see that they allow for richer insights, but may introduce variability. And then another factor is ethical considerations. We need to put into consideration the privacy of the details of the people that are providing us with the information that we need, that we don't expose them. So we also consider confidentiality while ensuring informed consent of the participants. And also we have scalability and generalizability. We have methods like surveys and experiments which allow for broader generalization. That is, if we are collecting data, we will have a broader view of information that we need. And also we see that case studies and focus groups also provide in-depth insights specific to smaller groups. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Naireza Alvin, and I'm going to do this question of qualitative data collection methods. So I'll start straight away. The first method is interviews. So this involves direct interaction between the researcher and the participants in order to gather in-depth information, usually from one-on-one conversations between the researcher and the interviewees. So the types is structured where the interviewer follows a predefined list of questions while asking the interviewees, and then there is unstructured where there is no strict list the interviewer has to follow. So these interviews always offer rich insights and flexibility, but at the same time they are time consuming and also resource intensive. Next method is focus groups. So in this case, a small group of participants discuss a specific topic guided by a facilitator. So it helps explore collective opinions and experiences from participants and encourages diverse perspectives and interactive discussions. In this case, dominant participants may influence others, and social desirability bias can also affect the responses. Another method is observations. This is where now systematic watching, listening, and recording of behaviors, actions, and events is undertaken. So researchers observe participants in their natural setting so that they can gather insights into their behaviors and interactions. It provides real-time and authentic data, and it can be subjective, and the presence of a researcher may influence the behavior. Types of observations maybe have participants where the researcher actively engages in activities of the group being studied in the research, and then we also have non-participants where the researcher doesn't really have to interact with the group being studied. So thank you. Naireza Alvi.
Hello, my name is Naomi, and I'm going to talk about quantitative data collection method. So quantitative data is data that is measured numerically or in numbers. So we have the common three quantitative data collection methods, which are surveys or questionnaires, then experiments, and secondary data analysis. I'm going to explain them. So surveys or questionnaires, here participants answer closed-ended or open-ended questions. And closed-ended questions, these are questions where the participants have to answer a yes or a no, or else it's a multiple choice questions, like maybe objectives, and you have to choose one. Then open-ended questions, here the participants have to think and write the answer for the question. So it is the opposite of closed-ended questions. and data can be corrected here online or can be corrected in person. Example is like maybe asking participants how they spend their money, and there can be multiple choices, maybe going to the beach or going to club, and the participants is going to tick one of the two. Then for experiments here, experiments test cause and effect. So it is about relationship between variables, and they manipulate the data to know like about like a large group, and they'll manipulate one variable. The example is testing a new drug as effect on patients, and you can use a small circle of patients, or like you can test a few people and then you will be knowing the effect on the whole community. Then secondary data analysis here, it is about reusing the existing data, and instead of correcting new data, you reuse the existing data. For example, studying population trends by using the census data that was corrected. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Bainam Shadrik, and I'm here to continue from where my colleagues have stopped. And as per my part, I'm here to take you through how can researchers combine qualitative and quantitative data collection methods in a mixed methods approach. And the mixed method approach integrates qualitative and quantitative research to provide a more complete perspective on the topic. And if I to get a clear understanding, quantitative research focuses on numerical data and statistical analysis, while qualitative research explores deeper meanings and experiences and perspectives through interviews, observations, and open-ended responses. And if I to take a glimpse of the designs of the mixed methods approach, the first one, we have sequential explanatory design, and this approach involves collecting and analyzing quantitative data first, followed by qualitative data. And we can give an example of a researcher who might conduct a survey to gather numerical data on customer satisfaction, and then follow up with interviews to understand the reason behind the survey and the responses. Then the second one, we have concurrent triangulation design, and in this approach, both the qualitative and quantitative data are collected at the same time, and the goal is to compare and cross-validate findings from both methods to ensure accuracy and credibility. We can give an example in this context of a researcher studying employee engagement who might require to distribute a survey while also conducting focus groups to see if the results align or reveal different insights. Then the third one and the last one of the designs, we can talk about embedded design, and this one involves embedding one type of data within another. For example, in large-scale quantitative study, researchers might include open-ended questions to gather qualitative insights within predominantly numerical survey, and this approach is useful when one method plays a primary role while the other provides supporting insights. And if I to talk about the benefits of mixed methods approach, it provides a deeper understanding in that by combining numerical trends with personal experiences and perspectives, researchers can gain more holistic understanding of their topic. The second one we can talk about is it balances strengths and weaknesses, where quantitative research provides generalization, while qualitative research captures deeper insights. And by using both, researchers can offset limitations of each method. And the last of the advantage of the benefits, we can talk about it enhances validity and reliability, in that when findings from both methods align, like they're aligned, they strengthen the credibility of the results, and this cross-validation directly improves the reliability of the study. So that's it from our group. Thank you very much.